All right, hey guys, and welcome back to the studio. So we're just going to do a check-in on where the seeds are, the seeds I'm starting this week, the seeds I'm starting next week. I'm going to show you getting the Kratky set up, the fertilizer for that as well. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I'm throwing in the hydroponic tower, and I kind of have that going, so I want to show you kind of where I'm at there. In terms of the seeds that I got started, remember, I'm a zone 5. My goal is to make sure that I have enough onions, peppers, tomatoes to make fresh salsa, chili, and my goal is to also make garden salads all year from my garden. So that's what I kind of call my strategy to make sure I'm using the most. So this year I do want to grow quite a few onions, so I got those started. So here we are. Pretty good germination so far. So here we have the blush and the Walla Walla onions. These are about 7 days old. I'm going to go ahead and fill those in. Those are their seed packs. I'm going to go ahead and plug the holes that didn't germinate with new seeds so that I do have full 48 trays. These trays are 3D printed, so you wouldn't be able to buy them, but I know you can get small trays like this, local garden center. So I wanted to give you a little update on the lettuce that we got started right here. These are in the Rockwall trays. Again, this is a 3D printed tray. I have the Selenite version of lettuce in here, which I want to use as a cut and come again. So I'm going to show you something really interesting, which is the difference in the growth between just this tray and the Arrow Garden here. It's quite a big difference. I think I didn't have enough moisture in these cubes, and that's why we're seeing such a difference here. So you can see the nice, beautiful, healthy root here on this Selenite lettuce. So planted the same day, same time, same light conditions. The difference is that the Arrow Garden's consistently putting water on this, so that must be the difference. As we see here, it's got its cotyledons and only 2 true leaves, whereas this one has 4 full true leaves, at quite a big difference in those plants. So this is why I love my Arrow Garden. It is a great way to get your plants started. So for this week, for seeds that I'm starting, I'm getting started my parsley, because parsley does take about 20 days to germinate. And then to be able to kind of cut and come again with the parsley, we'll need a bit of time. As well, I'm going to plant some cilantro just because I love it. If you wanted to plant any other herbs this week, I would be looking at your thyme, your oregano, and your sage. So those are all your kind of woody stemmed herbs. You'd want to get those started right now. If you were planting other vegetables in your garden right now, if you were thinking about doing celery, leek, if you were thinking about doing eggplant, if you're thinking about doing any of the brassicas, so your broccoli, your kale, your cabbage, your cauliflower, you'd want to get all of those started right now to go out in the early spring. So depending on your zone, always double check, read the seed packet, guys. It always has the information you need on it. And in terms of what I'm planting next week to get going, to make sure that I'm getting the most out of my harvest, I'm going to start the Asperbrock broccolini. I want to get this going because I'm going to have a cold frame and I want to get a good harvest off this as well. I'm going to start my prism peppers and my spicy sliced jalapeno. I think getting those started is going to give the best harvest, kind of as I said, guys. What I did want to show you guys was my Kratky setup and what I'm doing there. So what I have here is your mason jar. This is 750 milliliters with a 3-inch net cup. The white parts are what I printed off Thingiverse. If you're into 3D printing, you just search this up, Kratky. It'll be the first thing that comes up. These are beautiful jars. I really like this. The important part with Kratky is that the jar is covered. So this is like a set it and forget it style of hydroponics. So I've done this before. I'm going to do it again. You guys are following along so we can see how successful it is. So I've started the selenite lettuce and some of the kale. So I'm going to be putting it in the Kratky tower, Kratky jars. And then I'm also going to be planting some in the tower, which I'll show you in a bit. It's too large to have on here right now. So I've already gotten one set up. The water's right to the line of the Rockwall cube, so your roots are just touching it, and the water's going to go down as the roots absorb, allowing oxygen for the roots and allowing it to get water and nutrient uptake. So it's the Rockwell cube, and then these are your clay pebbles. I think some people call them leeka balls or clay pebbles. What they do is they help retain moisture and improve aeration, which is great for your roots in hydroponics. So to get your Kratky set up, again, you just need a jar and a pot. Anything would work here, guys. You can paint this jar, you can put a sock over it, get creative, look online for ideas. So in terms of this and fertilizer, I am just using the Aero Garden fertilizer. It's maybe not my favorite, but it's what I have on hand, and I just try and use what I have on hand. Based on this being 750 milliliters, I'm going to use 3 milliliters of my fertilizer to get started, and then I'm probably going to be adding maybe 1 a week. We'll see how it goes. The best way to monitor your lettuce, if it needs more fertilizer, is just the look of it. You're looking for your color, you're looking at tip burn. Those things are going to tell you how well your fertilizer or how well your lettuce is doing. So we got our fertilizer, we'll add our water, and this is just tap water, guys. And what we're trying to do is to get it so that the bottom of this Rockwell cube is just going to hit the water and just be right at the top. And I'm going to use some clay pebbles to fill in here. These have already been rinsed. Before you use these, you always want to rinse them and soak them. So we'll pop a few in here. Try and get it at the right height. Perfect. That's where it's sitting. So now that I can see it, I'll just finish up my water to get it right up to the bottom of the cube. Perfect. There's enough part of the cube on the side too for the roots to come out and into the pebbles. So lots of possibility for the roots to get air. And we're just going to fill it in with pebbles along the side here. All right, guys, there we go. So we have 1 Kratky lettuce ready to go. Oh, that's quite a mess. So for the parsley seeds, I think I'm going to start 2 of each and then 2 of the cilantro. So for this flat leaf parsley, these are in pelleted seeds. So I'm going to put 2 per. These seeds are a little bit older. I might even put 3. As your seeds get older, the germination rate declines with them. But these are pelleted, so there's going to be kind of probably a better germination rate on these because there's just a little bit of protection around that seed. So I have 3 per tray. Those back in. So I'm just going to push them down for good contact with the soil. And then I'll just put a little bit of soil on top once we're done here. Good contact with the soil. So this is the flat leaf parsley. These seeds are old, guys. I'm not sure if these are going to germinate, so I'm going to go heavy on these. Let's see here. When did I get these seeds? This was 2018, so I don't even know if these are going to germinate. I think I will definitely give it a try, though, guys. You'll have to check back in a few weeks and see if these are going, but I think we will. I'm going to sow these heavy, really heavy. All right. There we go. And then cilantro. Cilantro is so easy to buy seeds and to harvest your own seeds. Cilantro, also coriander, it would be known as. I'm going to plant a few of these because, again, this is a bit of an older seed pack. So I'll look for some really good germination here. Really fill that up. And my seeds back. There we go. Whoop. And just pushing down, good contact with the soil. I'll put a little bit over top, and then I'll get those watered in. So I'm just going to add a little bit of soil on top. Oh, there we go. Let's turn that off. So I just add a little bit of soil on top, just pack it down. This is nice and moist right now, so I'm just going to leave it to germinate. Won't need anything. I'll just need to make sure that the soil's moist, and there we go. Actually, I'll probably give it a little spray. So what I had been talking about is showing you this hydroponic tower. This thing I am so excited to have. I've always wanted a hydroponic tower. We've done hydroponics before, but we've done NFT, so we've done it in like the things that drain water off your house. Guys, you know what they're called. So I was able to find this. My son has a 3D printer. We were looking at cool things to 3D print. We came across this guy. What's his name? I wrote it down. All Your Tech, and he had a 3D printed Iron Man costume. It was so cool. But I also noticed on his videos that he had this. And once I saw this, I knew that this would be my next project for 3D printing. So again, that's All Your Tech. He has this on printables under Be Love. You guys can definitely find this. So this is a 20-liter bucket. What I did is I printed this. This is the lid. It has a little spot here, a little tray that you can pull off so you can fill water. And then each one of these is its own segments. So this is your top lid, just different water coming out. This is your water dispersing tray. Right here is where the tubing comes in. So I have a pump in the bottom here. This is, I don't even know the sizing of this, guys. I can put information down below if you're interested. But this tubing connects to this. The water comes through and then drips down through here. Each of these is its own pod. So these are like neti cups that just twist into here. And then as you can see, each one is its own layer. So I'm getting this set up for my lettuce and my romaine to get started and to see how it works. If it does do well, I'm going to be using this over the summer for strawberries. So what I did want to add in, or what I wanted to take out, was this piece here. There we go. So I can add in this right here. There we go. And this in here. There we go. This here. And then my top. There we go. So what I wanted to show you guys is that I did get one of the kind of kales planted in here the other day just to give it a try. So what I have is 30 minutes on and 30 minutes off. This is in the Rockwell cubes, and then I have the clay pebbles. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but there's definitely roots coming down and into the clay pebbles, which is great. So in terms of lighting, I'm using my Agilex 200 watt multi-Kelvin grow light for this. In the 19 liters of water, if I looked it up correctly, it's recommending that I use 75 milliliters of fertilizer, which is not a lot actually. And then I have it on, as I said, 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off. I might have to adjust it, but I'm trying to use everything that I have had for hydroponics. This is the timer that I have, and it's only 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off. The pump in here is a pump I got off Amazon. We used it to kind of empty a body of water that we needed to empty, so I'm repurposing that. And then for fertilizer, as I said, I'm just using the Arrow Garden fertilizer. Not my favorite because it is Miracle Grow. I'd rather have a better brand, but I'm just trying to use up what I have, guys. So that's the hydroponic tower, and I'm going to go ahead and get it set up with all of the lettuce right now, guys. So let's get that going. So I think one of the most important things about hydroponics and gardening and just taking care of plants in general is that you always want to be in tune with the plant and not your system. When you're in tune with your plant, you can look at its leaves, you can look at its roots, you can look at its color, you can look at the rigidity of the leaves to tell if your plant is healthy or not. So always being in tune with your plant versus your system is the best way to go. And when you're in tune with your plant and not the system, you really know what you need to do to change it up. Okay guys, so for 19 liters, based on the fertilizer I'm using, it's recommending 75 milliliters. So I just went and got my jug, so 75's right there. I'm going to add this first before I test my pH because your nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium can change your pH. There we are. So I need to get this. Whoa! Almost dropped it, guys. Almost dropped it. Okay, yeah, water's flowing, so I'm just going to add my nutrients and give it a minute or two for it to all mix up. And then we'll definitely check the pH. Remember, for lettuce, your ideal pH is 5.5 to 6. And then I'm just going to spin this around and see that all my cubes are getting the water. So I did test the pH before I got it set up the other day, and what I got was about a 7.5. So I've added the nutrients. It's been running for a day or two just to test the system, make sure my timer is working. So my pH is coming in at just about 7. So to lower that, I'm just going to use some household vinegar to get it down in that 5.56. But, you know, I'm going to give it a few minutes because it is slowly dropping right now. So I'll come back to that in just a second. So I hope you guys enjoyed the update. I'm going to go ahead right now and go ahead and get my seeds planted and give these guys a water. These guys need a drink. So remember, we're following the onions. The strawberries are still in the fridge, and we went ahead and got the parsley and cilantro started this week. We now have our Kratky lettuce set up. So this is going to be interesting to see kind of what system does better because we have Kratky, we have a hydroponics tower, and we have the Aero Garden all going at the same time. Not a controlled experiment, but it's going to be interesting to see. Next week, we're getting our peppers started and we're getting our broccoli started. We're going to be talking about the raised beds that I'm building. A reminder that my goal is to use as much of my garden space this year to produce as much as possible. I'm growing salads, I'm growing stuff to make fresh salsa, and I'm growing tomatoes, peppers, and onions to make batches of chili and tomato sauce. So my goal is to get the most out of my small space garden. So stay tuned next week, guys. We're going to get some more seeds started and we're going to check in and see how everything here is doing. Thanks for watching. See you guys soon.